at least.
Let me check on another screen. We are
Yeah.
still waiting, Mitja. And yes, I see you. We are live.
We're live. Okay, great. So we thought we're live, but for 4 minutes we were talking between ourselves, and so yeah. But
Now we are live.
now
That's
we're live. So
yes.
I'm going to say it all again. So again, we have a stream today with Tomislav, aka DappWhisperer, and which he will ask me questions, and we decided to just go with the flow and be creative. I wanted to play the game on the stream today as usual, but two things. First of all, I'm traveling, so I couldn't just set it up all of it, like with OBS streaming through Zoom and so on, because we had to have an interview. So we in the end we decided to go like that. And second of all, I got like 28 questions for today. So anyway, we wouldn't have any time for playing. Yeah. So again,
That.
thanks everyone for joining, and thanks Tom for coming.
Thanks for
And
having me.
let's go.
Yes.
So as
May
you
I
were
add may I
yeah.
add Akka black screen because I didn't prepare my camera. And I was also under impression you will be playing the game and I will be chatting with you. But let's start. I will start with announcement. It's not announcement. With my little portal, which will be bigger in time, DappAhoy.com, which is fully dedicated to Acki Nacki and the future entire ecosystem that will be built on and around that blockchain. Well, in simple terms, it's a place to find, I can say, everything Akinaki to describe, from updates, some insights, or whatever will be on the chain from the time. The site is still under the development because it's my side project, but as I'm daily notice, I'm spending more and more time on Akinaki. That side project will be one day, I hope so, my only occupation, besides playing Puppet games, of course. I forgot to say, it's not me, it's we. I trained part of LLM, which is a part of my other personal project, with all Akinaki related data, informations, official documents, chats we have on on the Telegram, tweets that were posted on X or X Twitter, and everything what I and AI could found on the web. Also, I make sure it's fact checked, so it's fact checked. I hope so. I'll also it learns daily as we get new announcement on groups. I feed it with that info instantly. So one day, if this part of LMI go public, it will be a full Akinaki and full Akinaki project, I can say. The other part of it, this is the part of my bigger project. It's fed with everything I related with what I've written in my history, in my life. I've written more than 1,000 blog posts, articles, and so I fed it with this info, with my answers on forums, on chat groups, so he can, how to say, write and speak in my tone and voice. I like to curse, so he liked to curse, but I have to tone them down. And that's it. That's it. I hope the community, I did call the community to join in with any info they got, to correct me, to spell check, so we don't have to, we don't share fake information, how to say. I notice in one last article, I did article with him, he used my portal as a source. So it's important to be correct with all information, to teach him, to learn him with all information that is correct.
Great. Thanks.
Hey.
That's great. It's brilliant.
Well, it's learning daily. Hopefully, I don't know. It doesn't have any how to say. We say go with the flow. I don't know where is the end line. It will go.
Which model did you use?
For now, for the public model, I use ChatGPT, but for the personal, I'm in building that Llama. I don't know which one. I have a friend which is into it, and he advised me what to take and what is best for this project type of kind.
Nice. There is a new Chinese one, I think, which is and there is also this DeepSeek, I think.
Yes, DeepSeek is also.
Yeah,
But
worth a look.
Llama is, I don't know, everywhere. So I hope it will work. It's always changeable. That part is not, it's underdeveloped because I'm still in preparing data. It's something like I call it for myself. It's my personal self. I want to clone myself into AI, into, from my earliest memory, I recall what friends thinks about me, what my family thinks about me. One day when I die, my grandchildren, instead of picture,
We'll
could
talk to
have,
you.
will talk to me,
Yes.
ask me advice or something.
Yeah.
I believe in 100 years that will be possible and real and every day.
Yeah. Well, who knows what happens in like 10, 20 years from now? Maybe we will be just completely, uploading ourselves to some form of AI and have
Yes,
even more. Yeah.
everybody will know. Everybody will know everybody and everything. And well, I decided once it will be available to how to say make it on blockchain. So to build if is that the right term, to build website fully on blockchain, like we mint Poppets. Every article will be minted with the transaction with the will be permanent.
Well, actually, it's closer than you think.
It's cool. Oh, great. I have a material to mint.
I mean, yeah. We are like we already did these tools for Gosh, like in the when we did the Git on chain project. So
Yes.
we will definitely put that all on chain very quickly after we launch. And so because
Yes.
this is obvious thing, like we want to be able to upload to blockchain all sorts of content. Yeah, we're going to do that, and AI as well. I mean, it's extremely important. I thought about that. Actually, spoke with podcast a few days ago about this. That we need blockchain in AI. I also spoke with some guys who are doing a special like AI blockchain, which specializes in basically like coordinating all kinds of GPU together for the and we agreed that blockchain is needed because otherwise we will be just having AI which run by 7 big companies in the world, and that's it. And we don't want that. I don't
We
think we
don't
want
want
that.
that, but also I think that hardware resources are not enough to show the full power of AI. How in
It
let's
will
say
be it will like we're on this trajectory that in 1 to 3 years, like the power consumption and therefore the cost of their GPUs will go down significantly. It's already happening like every year.
yes.
I think we're and so the models can become larger and larger, and everyone more or less will be able to afford it. So I think the resources will be there. It's not a question of resources for me as much as a question of decentralized control over the models and and the inception and everything, because otherwise, again, this is super powerful tool, the most
Yes.
powerful tool we ever had in human history. It cannot be controlled by few corporations or governments. It's just we cannot allow this to happen. we must open. And when I thought about this today also, is that it's very important. You think about privacy when you talk about AI, but actually, if you think also about dangers of AI, potential
Yes.
dangers, though I'm not apocalyptic like mode. I don't believe in this crap that AI will kill us all and all of that shit. But I do believe that like basically there are like people agents, people who will do harm using AI. I mean, they do harm using all sorts of things right now, so they're
We
going
know
to
that,
use
yes.
AI. So that's for sure. And and for me, like I thought about that today, particularly this question, and I think the best kind of uh, cure for that or protection against that is actually lack of privacy. It's actually openness, and we actually want the same thing we did with money. Like everyone, yeah, knows where your cryptocurrency goes. Again,
Yes.
it's pseudo anonymous. What we need to do is put all the prompts on chain, all the prompts open.
Mm-hmm. I
Now,
understand that.
because it's pseudo anonymous, nobody knows who did what, right? So, but because it's open, everyone will be able to see. And if you're trying to build an atomic bomb or something like that, like
You'll know how.
you no, you not only that you know how, but everyone will see this. That this guy doesn't. We don't know who he is, but he's trying to build an atomic bomb. And then it's a normal policing work that should happen, I believe, right? That someone need to stop the guy, but we need to see all the prompts basically, and then we can monitor the prompts and do this. I don't see any better potential protection, because otherwise, if you don't do this, then what happens is then the corporations like Microsoft, Google will tell you, you need to run it on our computer so we see this,
Yes.
and then we go to police. But okay. So I think better if everyone see this, not just Google or
That's
Microsoft.
certainly better, but this is one question I didn't prepare, but chain like Akinaki with parallelization speed and security is smart to build AI on that chain. What I
Yeah,
mean,
sure. I mean, but the amount of, just the sheer
but
amount of prompts
yes,
that
but
that
everybody
we
can
have.
teach that AI. So we can
Well,
teach
about
every, that's the
teaching,
problem.
no, about teaching, I don't think you need to put teaching. You need to put inception, not the teaching,
Yes.
because the teaching is a completely different story. Not just from the point of view that everyone will teach all sorts of nasty things, the AI, but because it doesn't work really like that. Because like to teach the model, you need to have a special skills. Like you need to be a very like a trained engineer in this particular domain. So I don't think we're coming into the domain where like everyone will teach AI. I mean, fine tune, yes, but if you talk about like create a model itself, it's a lot of work and very specialized work, and it's
Yes.
very hard to do also. So I think that I don't think about teaching AI is less of a problem as long as the model itself is open source after that.
Of course.
But we will see open source models. I mean, we already see open source models, and we will see open source models. It's not that someone in these corporations will have some knowledge, that they will have knowledge, and the gap of this knowledge in 1-2 years, right? But
Mm-hmm.
this is nothing. Like in 2 years, the open source will catch up, and we will have open source model.
Great,
So that
great.
shouldn't be a problem.
So should we return to
Yeah,
Akinaki?
let's go.
Let's go with with the real questions. I concept these questions more to get to know you, consensus, what is behind you, and first of all, to answer myself, why did I click Akinaki, this funny name, up 1 year ago? You came from yours. You are CTO. You was CTO at Tone Labs, then co-founding Gosh, and now on Akinaki. How did each step lead you to this new chain? What was the spark?
Oh, it's all one step basically. Because when I was the CTO of Ton Labs and beforehand even when I did projects on Ethereum, and we did a document system on Ethereum, and very quickly like we realized it's unusable. Like you cannot build any comprehensive system which user interacts with on Ethereum. So it's ended up running on some kind of private chain because not because we wanted to do it on private chain.
Yeah.
We wanted to do it public, but you cannot wait that long for every click. So that was like already then, which was like what 7, 8 years ago, which I realized that okay, we're not there yet. There's not technology that can enable all use cases that we wanted. And so from that point, like Ton Labs, okay, I read the the Durov white paper on Ton, and that promised scalability and so on and so forth. So that was kind of quite interesting. And we did a lot of work on with Ton. I mean, of course, we wrote the Ton protocol in Rust. We did all kind of around that, like cloud infrastructure. We wrote compilers for Ton, like Solidity compiler, which we use now in Akinaki as well. And so, but very like 2 years more or less, quite early in that endeavor, like I realized, but it's better than Ethereum. It's kind of quite better than Ethereum, but it's not.
Yes.
It's not enough. This is not enough because they still like the finality was 10 second is still 10 second with Ton. And again, we're coming to the same thing. Okay, it's a little bit faster. It's more scalable. Obviously, it's more than 16 transactions per second or something like that. Yeah, but it's still very, very painfully slow for any kind of applications that I had in mind, what I wanted to do. So, and I started to think about like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe, I started to think like, can we do better? And I spoke with Tole Yakovenko from Solana, and of course, like I studied the Solana design then that time in 2019, I think it was.
I think 18 to 19, yes.
19, yeah, and so yeah, and a brilliant design. At least it was fast in terms of like user interaction, right? You could do much faster things. But when you still think about that, okay, so how many transactions you can stack into one block in 400 milliseconds, obviously, like that's problematic when you want to build a large scale case. And if many people wants to build large scale cases, it just doesn't work again. It's not scalable. And it was very clear that without kind of sharding or multi-threading, what we call it, it won't scale. So then okay, so I thought, okay, there is no protocol, like there is no existing protocol that can be used. And I asked myself, can we build such a protocol?
So it's
And that's how it was born. Yeah.
That was my second question. You found on LinkedIn that you're Akinaki consensus protocol author. So this is just, I can say, logical next step.
Yeah, because
in the yeah.
Yeah, I realized that again, it's all starting from the consensus protocol because it's all coming down to the message complexity, right? So like how many messages you pass, because that's determine the delay in block finality, like how many messages you need to pass between all the parties to come up with a common state, in agreement on the common state. And this is what determines, basically, like the how fast is your finality.
Yes.
Obviously, there are other factors in the implementation and things which we struggle with every day, but that is already like secondary. It's already implementation details. Maybe here the cryptography is too slow. Here is like implementation of these hash maps are too slow. But again, these all like implementation details, which are important, but that's not basic. That's not like the science. That's not basics. The basics, the fundamental is the message complexity. right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, and from the scalability perspective, we knew it should be multi-threaded and sharded. So I started to research consensus protocols, and I realized there is no consensus protocol, at least at that time was no consensus protocol that kind of I could live with. So I had to create my own. That's what we did.
Great, great. Let's talk about technology behind Akinaki. So we have block producers, verifiers, managers, and of course mobile nodes. Was this inspired by some real systems, or is this something more new and experimental in Akinaki?
Hmm. Well, you have.
I'm under impression that this is like building some I don't so living network, living digital organism, something like that.
Hmm. Well, okay. If you like, okay. So in Akinaki, you have block producer. You have block producers in any network. Someone need to produce the blocks,
Of course.
but the way you choose the block producers is totally different in every network, right? Most of them will tell you because okay, so their security assumption in most of the protocol security assumptions, you need to rotate block producer quite often. And that was one of the problems because each time you rotate block producer or sequencer in that respect, you lose a lot of time on agreement who
Yeah.
this need to be. Just in order to agree who this need to be, it takes enormous amount of resources in the message complexity as well, because you may need some random source of randomness in order to kind of randomly select each time the
Mm-hmm.
new block producer.
Mm-hmm.
And because this randomness plays role in the security of these protocols, uh, there is a whole protocol just how to create distributed randomness. And just that protocol it requires already so many messages to pass that forget about finality. The
Yes,
fast
yes,
finality just doesn't happen.
yes.
So I knew that from the beginning, and I said from the beginning, can we do something where the block producer just doesn't move? Like we don't need to rotate it, and we rotate it if it's dead, but more or less until it works, we should not rotate it. And that's a first assumption of Akinaki security, that block producer can be, because if we don't rotate it, then it means that it can be malicious.
Mm-hmm.
So we are, I think, one of the very few, if at all, protocols which say block producer, forget about it, can be malicious, no worries, it will be fine.
It's okay.
Because then the probability, Akinaki is probabilistic. Everything in Akinaki is probabilistic. We probably will talk about that later as well, because like everything is basically in equations and probabilistic in the theory of probability.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the probability of your attack, like if you're a block producer on the network, is so small because Akinaki will appear like and check the block,
Mm-hmm.
and you never know who that will be. So instead of choosing randomly the block producers, we choose randomly the Akinaki, and that changes everything. We discovered, that's actually our discovery, that this is what like basically the contribution of Akinaki protocol to the probably one of the most important ones to the theory of consensus protocols, is that yeah, you can instead of randomly choosing block producers, you're randomly choosing verifiers, and block producer stays the same because the block producer will never know who will be next Akinaki. And then everything else is just it just basically an exercise of counting probability for different um, like size of attack. What if I have malicious network? 49% of network is malicious,
Yes.
like 49% of all nodes. Would it still hold? What if I maliciously spam and DDoS like the rest of the network? Would that be still working in terms of, and that's how basically the Akinaki paper is describing the security model. recount these probabilities. And in a way, like we prove that even with 49% malicious and another 49% DDoS, if within just basically actually like even like it's 49.5 and 49 almost 50%, even if we have just 1% of the nodes which are not DDoS, not malicious, and it's not that it just randomly not DDoSing some nodes, is because the block producer, in order to issue the block, finalize the block, need to receive attestations from other nodes. So this is a parameter of the network. So if we put parameter of attestations to 51, there is always 1% above 50 of the attestations that you still need to get in order to finalize the block. So you cannot DDoS this. If you have 49% of the malicious nodes, but you need like 50 plus 1 of the attestations, you still need to have this 1% plus 1 node,
yes,
which is not malicious, and you cannot DDoS them because otherwise you will never finalize the block. So what is the probability that within this 1% there is Acki Nacki that will check your block? And what is the probability of the Acki Nacki appearing in this 1%? So it will never be profitable for you to attack, because once you only have one chance, because then you lose all your stake. If you're
you're out.
Right, and apparently, like if we count all the probabilities, it's just the chance that the Acki Nacki appears so high, you will never attack. It's just never profitable.
Great, yes.
It's all.
Puppet game, famous puppet game. That it's run on chain, deck building, sabotage, roguelike. Why is the game core to Akinaki, not just a side project?
The game itself is not core to Akinaki, but the verification process is core to Akinaki. And then the question is, how do we verify? Like, okay, we could just release a black screen.
Yes, as we see.
And someone would be moving fingers across this black screen, and that would verify. Would it be enough for verification? Yeah, sure, it would be enough. But how many people would do that? Like, it's so, and for how long? Even if you know that you paid, in a way, right, to move your finger across the screen, across the black screen, it's so bloody boring that I don't think many people would enjoy that very much. I mean, come on, we're talking about human psychology in the end, right? And what would happen is that a lot of people, instead of moving their fingers, they would put some,
out of fingers, let's say.
out of fingers to move across this, because no one would want to even try to really do that. And then what did we do? Like, of course, there is some randomness. If you put 10,000 phones and attach to them 10,000 electronic devices, which would do the random, not random, but electronic things. This electronic currency because it has the 50 whatever hertz fluctuation, it would still be random, actually. It would still provide quite good randomness. But nevertheless, I think it's not what we want to build, because we already have validators. Why do we need another validators which do automatic stuff? And we want real people. Because another point in verification was that it's not only like we can probably live without verification like that, just counting on validators. In a security model, okay, there are some tweaks. They're probably that we would need to do to increase the security of the validator set, which with verifiers we can go below that and network becomes even faster. But we could do that. It's not absolutely 100% necessary part, right?
Yes.
But it helps. And the other thing is, what makes a blockchain great? It's not technology, right? It's people who use it. So that's one of the ways to engage with the user and say, listen, we have this game, and it's one game, two games, it will be more games. where you can like play and by the way, if you kind of, oh, you can find a game which you like to do this, and you participate in network security, and network pays you as well in tokens, by the way, right? So we engage, and this way people also, when they think about the knuckle that they get, it's a very different for them if the knuckle is just mined by some electronic finger for them,
Yeah.
and or when they really did a work themselves and mine this. I think there is a big psychological difference on how you view this knuckle, because you
And the
actually,
value of that knuckle is
yeah, because
psychologically bigger,
you
yes.
actually spend time doing
Yeah.
this.
You
And so for you, the value is this, is how much you value your time, right?
yeah.
That already has a cost, because we know if you go to work for someone and you paid, I don't know, in your country, maybe in one country you paid like $5 an hour, in another $10 an hour, and another $1 an hour, or whatever, but it's still money. Like, it's still comparative in your economy. It's money. So you know that you go to work for 1 hour, it you paid. Here you play a game, yes, it's fun, but it's still time. So you still think about and we're trying to make it not boring for you to do this, right? Because we want you to engage and do more time, because we believe you will spend more time if it's fun and engaging, right?
Yes, it has to last for 60 years.
But you
Of course.
still spend time.
Yeah. So the mining knuckle through gameplay, does this change how users relate to consensus? Are they just participants, players, or what? Or both?
I don't think they need to think about consensus. Like, consensus works,
Yes.
behind the scenes. But what they need to think about the value and the knuckle, and play games or whatever. Maybe in the future it will not only be games, maybe some other activity. Nobody ever did, like, I don't know, let's say video or image editing for cryptocurrency, or maybe writing blog posts, poems. Or maybe I just spoke a few days ago about with a journalist,
Yes.
who wants to launch a new journalistic project. And I told him, what about proof of journalism, meaning like evidence-based journalism, where you can produce the journalistic content and engage with other people about this content, and mine. And why just game? It doesn't matter what activity you do. You can do whatever you want as long as you do it on screen, right? You can type documents, write poems, do whatever.
Any interaction with the screen counts.
Any interaction
Let's
with the
say.
screen and your fingers, yeah, exactly. And on your phone, take pictures on your phone also works. If you do it through the special app which supports the mining, you can do that. Like, we, from the network perspective, who cares? As long as you move the screen, yeah, the validation, verification works. But when you do it on the blockchain, you also create transactions, and then the value of the blockchain increases, because not only because you spent time, but you also produced something. Even if when you play the game, you spend time, but you also kind of engage with this game. You produce content, like with puppets, you produce content, right? With puppets, you mine as well. Someone mint your puppet. If your puppet is issued, popcoin is there, then they mine as well. So, and that's content. That's like a crypto Instagram already there, right? And you can expand on that. Yeah, and we hope that people will come and will create, not only us. I mean, we're not exclusive party here. Like, anyone may create some application and just connect this mining engine to this to your application, and yeah, here you go.
So practically any interaction on the screen on the mobile phone can be some sort of mining.
Exactly.
Was it?
You can, like, people installed this malicious miners, Monero, I
Yes.
think, in what all sorts of things just by running on your computer, right? We're saying you can do it in the mining rewards go to you, yeah, which was creating the mining using your fingers on the screen run for randomness.
Well,
Why not?
thinking from my perspective, I like to write. Let's say let's say I write an article on chain, and just by writing that article, I'm already paid. I
Exactly.
publish it. I already chain paid me.
Exactly.
I touch the screen. I write the letters. Okay, that's done.
Exactly. And if you create some kind of interactive content where people who interact with your content, think about that. Which I don't know, maybe they polling, like voting on something or doing some other things, and you put these elements, we can provide the elements inside the document, this document software, whatever it will be. And people, all your readers are touching these things,
Yes.
putting likes on your, like minting your article, like they would pop it, for example, or doing something like that, answering polls or whatever. They mine as well on
That
your article.
that changes everything. How we know it.
Instead
Definitely.
of buying the stars and like giving the stars like they do on Telegram,
Yes.
think of them just hitting this minting thing on your article, and you get the tokens, they get the tokens.
That's great. That's
I
really
think
good.
so.
Yes. Uh, the game launched on Steam and Android. We hope so iOS will approve it someday.
Not happening. Well,
Not
someday
happening.
maybe. They're really nasty. Like I have no idea why they did what they did, but they deleted everything, including the developer's account, which I never
We
saw.
never,
It's completely crazy.
never
I
heard that.
never saw such a thing. Yeah, exactly. So of course I wrote like 10 appeals on them because it's absolutely unjustified. There's nothing in this application that, it's the same as an Android, absolutely the same code. Nothing happens there. It's not. It even doesn't have blockchain at the moment, right? It just works without any blockchain.
Yes.
In Apple, there is even not an S. We didn't even put the wallet SDK in there. Uh, I have no idea, frankly, what's going on.
It's Apple.
So
It's Apple,
yeah. We now
unfortunately.
hope that they will like allow wallet, because that will be really crazy stuff if they disallow wallet. So we really hope that, and that's one of the things we're actually doing now is like we're supposed to release the wallet actually any day. We were supposed to release it last week, but one of the things like which we're doing now is like we're really carefully preparing this Apple release, which will go first in public beta through another developer account, and we hope that Apple, will allow that.
Hmm. So there will be for iOS users only builds IO or
No. I mean, I hope we will just get
uh
normal approval. That's what we're
uh
working on. Like we
great.
through the another developer's account, but it's just the wallet. Like I released several wallets like this over the last 10 years in my developer's account without any problem. I don't know what the hell is going on. What is happening?
I don't know. So mining on Steam is still no, or do we have
No,
any news? No,
no, no, mining custom will not happen.
that will
Like
not never
I'm
happen.
telling right now, it won't happen because the Steam has a very strict rules on the blockchain games, and it's just not going to happen.
Okay. So we have Android, we have iOS, hopefully.
Yeah, okay, so there will be several actually. First of all, we're releasing the new app, which will update it up on Telegram and the web app.
Uh-huh.
The puppets will mine Knuckle there in the app. So whatever happens right now, like everything that happens right now, will mine Knuckle when you mint puppets.
Puppet, yes.
But you will need to install the wallet. You cannot mine without wallet, because if you don't have wallet, we don't know where to send the Knuckles.
Of course.
So you must have a wallet, you must install the wallet. But other than that, you install the wallet and then you connect the wallet with the same like ID as
Mhm.
your app, as you were using in Telegram, and then you just mint poppets and you get Knuckle. And also on Android, yep, you can play iOS again. Builds.io, it doesn't really work. Maybe in the future, like Apple will come to census and we will release the game where you will be able to mine in game. But other than that, yeah, Android in-game mining, it's not coming from the day one. Like uh, it will take some time before we connect the mining to the game. So
Mhm.
the first few weeks you will mine through just minting puppets.
Mending puppets, yes.
Mm.
We heard that. Uh, there was 1 million tournament behind us.
Yep.
I was just wondering, was this marketing stunt or was some sort of test of the network?
Mm.
Or both?
Mostly marketing.
Most
We
marketing.
again,
It was
when you
fully on
say
chain. It was fully on chain.
marketing, um, like
In the way spreading the word, gathering new people,
yeah,
getting
but
awareness, some kind.
you can say everything is marketing,
Yeah.
but in the end, we wanted to release the game which people will use to mine later on. So it was kind of important that um, that we release it and we get the feedback. Is we wanted to learn. It was a marketing in a way, but also a learning for us because we wanted to learn how, like, if it's all good. Because like
Uh-huh.
if we release the game which is shitty game, nobody wants to play, then it's not fun. Then like we need to probably do something. But in the end, it was great and most people liked it. Of course, there are a lot of people who just went to block number 5, and for them it was a little bit, I don't know, complicated maybe. Um, I don't know. Again, for me, it's very hard, of course, to relate to people who cannot pass block number 5 because it's really, really easy, right?
Yeah.
But I guess there are many people in the world who are just didn't go to education, like, and didn't receive the good education. I mean, school education, right? There are
Yes.
many people who didn't even go to school, and it's very unfortunate. And actually, one of the things that I wanted the game to do is to teach them math. So I thought, and I still think like that, um, like because they see and they will see like even more going forward that like they can mine knuckles and they will mine more knuckles if they go up in
Mm-hmm.
blocks. And I hope that will kind of make them to a little bit start, calculating.
Learning.
And
Playing with
if
two
learning, yeah,
game.
and by playing game learning,
Yes.
it's kind of the most probably fun way to do this, which I
Yes,
can
that's the
think
best
about.
way. That's the best way
And
to learn.
you know what? If so today, let's say 10,000 people who didn't pass the block number 5, like who stopped on block number 5. If this 10,000 people will go to block number 10, they actually went through several classes in the prime school. Right?
Yeah.
I think like I will be happy. Like I already think even that is already great achievement for Akinaki. If we did just that, and if it's not 10,000 people by 100,000 people or a couple million people, that's fantastic. Like then we did something that the education system in these countries couldn't do for fucking century.
Well,
I think this is great without any connection to anything else. Okay.
n- n-
So yeah.
not in just this country, but let's say all most of the new generation don't like to count. That's true. I have a son who I force him to count. I force him to some stuff, but he will rather use ChatGPT calculator, but not his brain.
Calculator is
That's
fine. Calculator is fine,
yes,
actually. I
but
think that even to use calculator, you need to know how to use calculator. Most of people, unfortunately, like uh, they don't even use calculator. Even calculator they cannot use,
Yes.
because they don't understand how simple arithmetics work.
Yes, that's the main problem.
And I think if we can, a little bit like do something, we already, I think, did something great.
Yes, great. That's the great news. Let's talk about tokens now. We have finite knuckle and infinite shell. What's the logic behind the split tokens in one chain?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. I tried to explain this tweet, and I know that you and some other people did a great job in explaining this. So the simple explanation goes like this. We need to, like in all of the blockchains that we know, there is one token, which is like the native currency, which do both things, two things. Secure the network, because proof of stake, you stake the tokens, and more your stake value, like more it cost, the more secure is the network, because you have a
Yes,
lot to lose, right?
of course.
So so this is one thing, is security, and another thing is we pay gas, we pay fees. So if you think about what is the value of the token that's securing the network you want to be, you want this value to go up all the time, because
Well, but
the
of
the
course,
more it costs, the more secure is the
the
network.
more secure, yes.
On the other hand, the same token, when it's used for fees, you want it to be kind of stable or go down, because you want more developers to develop, for like a lot of people to join, and you don't want skyrocketing fees on your network, because then nobody uses it, unless it's kind of uh, trading where you can
Yes,
earn a lot of money, right? And so the only use case is exchange, or like Aave protocol, where you can like get a loan. These are two use cases, mostly, and that's what we saw with Ethereum happening. Like whenever network becomes really popular, and skyrocketing the main cryptocurrency, the native token, immediately all the fees are skyrocketing. And here, like basically people, if you have an application which has nothing to do with the speculation on the network price, on the token price, you're dead. You cannot use it. That's why Ethereum created layer 2 blockchains. Solana tried to put the fees on the very minimum, but still, it cost money. Like it's
yes,
cost a lot
yes,
of
yes.
money. If you cannot do, you cannot have it in one token. These two things just don't live together. It's like you cannot do that. It's not a good marriage.
Of course.
They should divorce. And that's exactly what we did. We just divorced them. We just say, guys, you cannot live in one home. You just, no way.
You need separate lives.
You need separate lives, exactly. And we just separated them. We said, okay, why we're doing this? Why we're chasing this one token design? What's the point?
No.
We have the Knuckle, which, should increase in value, and hopefully will increase in value and will secure the network. And another Shell, which is we pay fees with, and we try to make it stable. As actually, it will be super stable in terms of it won't never go up. It should always, if anything, go down.
Go down, yes.
Yeah, it's also self-regulating, because when it go down, then like people, if the network, then it's for developers it's better, because they can now build more stuff, and when they build more stuff, they need more more shell, and it goes up. But because it cannot cross this $1 like thing, or 1 cent, whatever, and then it just cannot increase in price. So you're always there. Like it's
Yeah.
just fluctuating like this in this range.
Yes, great. Let's jump 5 years from now. Where do you see Akinaki
Let's not do
developing?
that.
Okay.
Let's just stay
It's
here.
unpredictable. Let's jump 2 weeks from now. It's also
Yeah,
unpredictable.
exactly. Oh, that's even that's very hard. And 5 years, it's impossible. Nobody
Yeah.
knows what will happen in 5 years. It's incredibly hard to make a prediction.
We got a lot of
even harder about the
questions.
future.
Yes, we got a lot of questions in chats about dates, about promises, about deadlines, about breaking promises and something. And we try to explain it's something building from the scratch, and it takes time. So predicting when will something be finished, and someone like to predict prices, that is completely impossible, as I think.
Yeah, I think the best example of that is try to write a story at 10,000 words. And like story, which like real story, right? And tell me when you finish. And I want to see.
Yeah,
Of course,
right.
of course, you always
Yeah.
can finish just by putting artificial blah blah words. But if you
Yes.
really want a story, which is like a good story, right? You want this to read this story yourself,
Yes.
like you
It's
honest
change.
like thing, right? When you really want to put an honest story in writing, 10,000 words, uh, you just cannot predict when it will happen. Meaning, because it's a lot, you can predict 100 words. You maybe can predict 1,000 because you can just sit yourself and just write 1,000 words, okay? And just you can do it in one day, and you can do it in one day. But when there is a lot of words, and I said 10,000. Actually, the Akinaki code is like in millions of lines. It's
You.
you just can't.
Yes.
And actually, it's right now we're already, of course, like you can approximately say when it happened. Why? Because like you see the network works, and okay, you see like it's shrinking, right? Your horizon is actually not widening; it's shrinking. So the closer you get near the end, the better your prediction becomes, because it's not that you may have a surprise that suddenly it will happen in 1 year instead of like 10 days. That's not possible, right? So you better and better at this. Like a year ago, we couldn't say that we will launch in a year because there's so many unpredictabilities that happened during this year that nobody could really see, like absolutely
Yeah.
nobody. I'm telling you,
Yes.
nobody. Doesn't matter who you are. Elon Musk, doesn't
Of
matter.
course.
And
Of
by the
course.
way, Elon Musk missed his targets like always.
We know that.
Never happened in time. Of course, now when they already have the ship and they say, okay, like the the regular ship, not the SpaceX ship, then they can say, okay, we will launch in 2 months. There will be and probably more or less already now they kind of because it's ready. But SpaceX ship, yeah, it's okay. They launched so many times, it just doesn't work. It breaks. It happens because it's complicated. It's a lot of pieces together. It's
Yeah.
not a simple things. And writing new blockchain is like one of our investors said a few months ago, before AI happened, blockchain consensus was the hardest thing in computer science. The distributed protocols were the hardest thing in computer science
Yes.
to do.
That.
Now probably AI is harder, but this is still second. It's not 25th on the list. It's still second on the list. It's incredibly hard. And so there are a lot of unknowns, but we are like almost there. It's
Oh, let's hope
you know.
user understand that this is not just pushing the button and we go.
Oh, they think that I can just put a phone, say, "Hello, guys, let's do it."
Yes.
No, it's
Good.
not like that. It's not like that. It's actually what happens is that like on the weekly calls, like weekly meetings, and there is like a plan. We're only making a plan for 1 week, simply because it's impossible to make plan further. I told you why. Also, it's really like even more than 1 week we cannot do. Like 1 week, that's the maximum, and we are missing probably about like 25-30%. We're still missing in our targets on this 1 week because there is always this. First of all, because of sheer amount of of things we do per person. Like, okay, we have a very small team. It's not that we have like 100 people working. We couldn't find 100 people like that, actually.
How many people are in the team?
Well, in total, in whole Gosh, we have 30 people, but it's not 30 programmers. And
Yes,
because we
of
have a
course.
creative team, we have a marketing team, we have like a lot of people who are not working. So in the core of Gosh, there is like 13 engineers. That's all. Like,
And
that's it.
they are all in Akinaki.
This is I'm talking about the core of the Akinaki team.
Yes.
That's a 13 people, and that's including DevOps, by the way. It's not only like devs. It's including DevOps. It's including testing engineers.
Yes.
So like think of that as more of a less than the 10 people who really write the code for the protocol.
It's a very small number. Very
Yes.
small number.
So the incredible amount like they need to do in 1 week is just impossible, even with their speed, to predict exactly like 100% what will be done.
Do
So
they
we're
sleep?
missing like 25%. No.
They don't
For
sleep.
months. No. And there are no vacations.
Oh.
Like no Saturday, Sundays. It's just 7 days
It's in
work.
the middle of the summer and they're working.
7 days.
That's for user to take in.
It's basically like they go to sleep, they come from bed. That's the time off.
That's the full dedication. And that, I think, it's what all users want to hear.
Well, otherwise it just wouldn't be possible otherwise. It just wouldn't be possible. We couldn't move this. It's just too much entropy. It just create this new thing, test this new thing. In this extreme, it's also not just another blockchain. It's a blockchain the fastest possible. It's a blockchain where we really push the limits like to the end, and everything breaks. Like we put it until it breaks. Like every day there are tests going on with like hundreds of nodes, tens of thousands of transactions per second. Like every day we push to the limit, like where it breaks, and we find when it breaks, and then that's analysis goes on and research and what's need to be optimized, what is still need to be done, and so on and so forth. And so this is what happens. It's like we actually have a documentary movie coming out together with the blockchain, which we're preparing, and where we talk about car designs a lot. Like we compare it with the car. We compare it with Formula One, basically, because it's very, very similar in case of Akinaki. Because other blockchains, they don't do this. Like I've been there. Okay, usually like you don't do this, and usually you have a consensus protocol. You know that it like will work like 3 seconds consensus, like 3 seconds a block, like BFT, normal BFT, like 2-3 seconds a block. You can see it's basically what Sui, like Aptos, Algorand, all of these guys, the BFT and non-BFT types, but BFT kind of types of protocols, they are in this range of finality, like 2-3 seconds. That's the fastest they can get. When you work on this environment, like you arrive to this, there is numbers you cannot cross. Like your blockchain won't do more than 3,000 TPS. Like that you cannot do that more than that. So you won't. What's the point of testing in a 4,000? It just breaks. So it breaks. So once you reach the 3,000, the only thing you need to do is to see over time that it's stable and doesn't break with some attacks, some code bugs and stuff like that. You can test it. You can write tests. You can do this. This is this type of work. And what we are doing is when you put the car and you need to go as fast as possible around the corner and you push it until it breaks, like the wheel goes away, like this. You see that it broke, and you go and you try to understand what's went wrong, why it's broke, because there is no limit. Like in Acki Nacki, there is no limit. There is no parameter when we say, okay, that will only have that amount of transactions. There is no such thing. You can go as fast as you can. It's practically unlimited, exactly. So it will always break somewhere, but we want to push this number as far as we can, so it's practically no one will, because again, we have free gas. What does that mean? That means that if a lot of people push stuff like they did with Solana, like Solana stalled several times. How did they do that? It's spam, because it cost a small amount of money, right? So you put small amount of money and you start to push some spammy smart contracts doing spammy stuff, and you just, you just occupy the network and you push it to the limit and it breaks, like Solana. It breaks. We need to know.
Wouldn't break.
Shouldn't.
Should, yes.
Shouldn't break. Yeah, but I mean, the number should be big enough. Should be really, really big, that the spam can be detected, prevented, or it will be really like, if we have million transactions per second, just saying, then it will still, like, even with spam, but you still need to pay. It will just cost you too much anyway, simply because the amount that you can do is that large.
Understand. So if Akinaki becomes everything you and we all hope, what existing systems or platforms become obsolete? What will be changed, Aaron?
All of them.
Everything is changing.
All of them. Because of course, like, I'm not saying this to say I want them all to die or anything like that, or we did that to kill someone. No.
Of course not.
I don't think it, like, I don't even think in terms of like domination, because that's not my interest. Like, I never wanted to dominate anything, like, and I also don't think it's a human way to do it, and means that we as humans, we want many things. Like, we don't want one choice, we need choices, and that's great. So I don't think that Akinaki will kill all the chains, or in terms of like even thinking Akinaki is a killer. Akinaki is a slasher. She is a, like, yeah, she is a killer for dishonesty, but she's not a killer of other networks.
Well, they have to try to be better to survive, let's say. And let's go to the final questions from me. That, I don't know, what's the core philosophy you're chasing? What should user take into their lives, real lives? With Akinaki, with...
Okay, Akinaki is about decentralization, and decentralization is about honesty, meaning, like, the beach that keeps you honest is, for me, the best explanation of what blockchain is. Any blockchain. Right? Because it's actually this thing, this technology that stamps forever the truth. Like, whatever you put there, yeah, it's stamped. That is the source of truth, and it may never change. Mathematically, it's just never going to change.
It's permanent.
Exactly. And so decentralization is like happening because of this, because nobody controls this thing. And it's actually, when we say it's truth, it actually means that nobody controls it. Because if someone controls it, like, Google can never say it's true, because they control it. We don't know if it's true or not, because there is someone in Google who can by executive decision change it. So the truth, when you think about the truth, the real thing is always decentralized. It doesn't belong to someone who can, by executive decision of president or country, doesn't matter who, do it, right? That's the truth. That's what real truth is. So I think the truth is connected with decentralization. So for me, the philosophy of truth is a philosophy of decentralization. And so that's like why I think we need blockchain, because again, connected to what we started with about AI, for example, right? This truth in decentralization applied to AI changes the fact that some Google or someone else can just change things in AI and produce something, right, some model that will just, tell you that the Earth is flat.
No, of course.
It is not flat.
It is not.
We know that. Well, we know it, but there are many people who just don't think it's.
Yes, I'm aware that. I'm aware, unfortunately.
Right?
So it's back
So,
giving the power to the people. Let's say in this word. Or it's not that hard.
It's more than that, because
It's more than that.
when you say giving power to the people, first of all, you need to ask which people.
Yes. But we don't
Who
know.
are these people, right? Here, it's more than that. It's giving it to the power of the collective, the people as a whole, the progress as a whole, right? Because again, like there are people that know the truth, right? And of course, you cannot know all the truth, but
of course,
if that some of that's a hard topic actually, right? It's hard topic because when we say Earth is flat, it's kind of for 90, hopefully, I don't know, but for 95% of people, maybe it's true. So it's easier to find a common ground on that topic.
Yeah.
But if I say some controversial stuff, then the common ground is becoming shaky, and there are many forms of truth. But there is time. And with time, we arrive in the end, like we arrive at some more or less consensus about what truth is, and at least from the scientific standpoint, right? Because just there are facts. There are just facts or maths or something that you cannot argue about anymore. Oh, you can argue about, Earth is flat. Yeah, you can argue, but the number of people who wants to argue about this stupid thing. Like, I give you another example. There is a homeopathy treatments, like medicine, which they call. 30% of all drugs in France sold per year. Well, that's statistics about 4 years ago. I don't know how now, but about 30% in the French, in France is high society with a very high education, right? Numbers of educated people are a lot of educated people in France. 30% of all drugs are homeopathic. Now, homeopathy is unscientific bullshit. It doesn't work. It's just a bloody water. Okay, it doesn't work. But still, there are these even in high educated society. And we're not talking about some third world countries who are still live by some beliefs, or no, we're talking about the center of Europe of education and secular society, right? With the very good education levels. And they still go to the pharmacy and they demand homeopathy. And there are doctors who call themselves doctors who are giving them homeopathy. Now, with time, that will pass, because as an evidence-based medicine, we know that it doesn't work. We know for sure, 100%, it doesn't work. It's not a medicine. With time, like 100 years ago, more people believed in homeopathy than now. And in 100 years, hopefully, nobody will believe in this bullshit. So what I'm saying is that if it's a scientific fact, like with time, less and less people believe in something else. And so when we say the blockchain for people, and from the philosophical standpoint, it's not blockchain for people, it's the blockchain for collective, for like humanity, where the truth lives. Hopefully.
Great words. And the final question, the famous question, when mainnet?
And the famous answer, soon.
Soon. Sooner than later. Thank you, Mitja,
No, no.
for answering my questions, and I hope listeners learned something new. And I know you have plenty more to answer.
Yeah, exactly. I have the other, I think 14 questions. So
That will be.
I'll try to. No, I just wanted to say about when, like,
Mhm.
as like we're almost there. It's like literally just last push. It's because we had to change, you know, I spoke about that before. We had to change this validator uh, delegation. It's a complicated system, but which is the system that counts the delegation and the counts the tokens. It goes to the core of the Knuckle minting. So when we change such a thing, it's actually we thought it will be easier in fact, but it required going like back and recalculating stuff and writing new smart contracts and stuff like that, which are again at the core of the system smart contracts at the core of the network. That like pushed it, and we're still testing it and still doing formal verification of that. There are still some open tests that are going on this just on that system, and yeah. So, but it's we are almost there.
Almost there. So it's still we are doing testnet before, or are we switching
Yeah,
directly
we're
to?
no, we will do that. No,
We
the
will do the
plan is
testnet. Yes.
the prenet will go live um next, hopefully, like we're
Soon.
talking
Yes.
days. No,
Days.
we're talking days. Okay, I don't know exactly how
Okay.
many days, but days. It's not even like not even weeks for me. I'm sorry, it can be 10 days, for example. It will be more than 1 week, but I'm saying we're not counting that in weeks. We're just counting that in days. And simultaneously with that, the wallet will be going live, and the new app, which mine will go up. So everyone will be able to test how mining works and how wallet works. They will see some test knuckles going to the wallet, stuff like that. So like you will be able to play with that. And for us, it will be also testing of all these things going.
So
Like work.
we will in future have two separate apps, wallet and the mining, or will be merged in one.
We will be merging into one. Just when
Merging
the
in.
pre-test we test, we see that everything works for like few, I don't know, days.
Yes. Yes.
Everyone, and then we just switch it
But the
off.
final is one
And
app. Do it
yeah,
at all.
no, one
Great.
app, no testing apps.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much
Thanks,
for your questions.
thanks, Stanislav. That's
For your answers,
thank
not
you for doing
questions for
that.
me.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
few questions to answer. So first one, explain what reward will be for mobile verifiers and what influence will a box and verifiers amount have on it. Users want to understand the correlation, not exact calculation, which I would not give you because it's in tokenomics, you can read it yourself, of production from variables in the formula in the orders and the order of numbers. Yeah, okay. So imagine block keepers who win 67.5% of total supply. Each one of them in special case could make less than a mobile verifier who wins 22.5%. Okay, guys, it's really simple. This is how it goes. Imagine 10 block keepers, just 10. So if you have 67.5% of all block rewards going to 10 block keepers, it means each of them would get 6.75% of the block reward in Akinaki. All right? 6.75. Imagine there is just one mobile verifier. How much he would get, or she? 22.5. So how that's possible? That verifier will mine more than that's how it's possible, right? Very simple. There is always a numbers, like a correlation between the numbers. like that. So if there will be a lot of like 5,000 block keeper licenses, which mines 67.5%, but there is just less, and not less in number by number, because you have this distribution curve in mobile verifiers. So you actually don't need to be like, okay, if you have like 5,000, then if you have 4,000 of verifiers, you will mine more. No, you won't, because there is a proportion between 67 and 22, which, so you need like 3 times like less, right, verifiers. So 2,000 will mine more, and they will, but because there is a curve, like the ones who mine like has more boosts, they mine like a lot more than the ones who don't have any boosts, right? So you can actually have more people in verifiers, and still the top of the verifiers will get more mined than any particular license holder. So, okay, if that's not a lot of them, but more than, certain number. So anyway, so that's the answer. So like if you have 5,000 mobile verifiers and 5,000 block keeper license holders, the top of the block of the top maybe few of the mobile verifiers will mine more. That's it. So yeah, that's how it's possible. Second, will it be possible to send single Puppet to other wallets? No, you can send, when you send this, no, you can only send Popcoin. You cannot send Puppet. Because Puppet by itself is not a coin, you cannot send it. Can we get Shell when playing Puppet game without buying it with you? No, you can't. Like, no, that's not how it works. You only get Knuckle. Shell, you need to buy. But you can buy cheaper if someone bought it and decided that he wants to sell it fast, right? So there's this mechanism in Shell, if you remember, or if you read what me and others explaining, that you can always sell it for $1, for 1 cent, in fact, per one shell. By placing it in this accumulator smart contract, it will be sold first, and you will get your 1 cent per shell. But if you really need it fast, you cannot wait until someone buys it. Then you can go and sell it to someone who needs it, and you can sell it for less because it's fast. You can buy it for less, put it in the accumulator, and get 1 cent. That's exactly how this unstable coin works. Okay, can boosts be purchased with Shell? I don't know. I don't know. I never thought about. I don't think boosts can be purchased. Boosts, they earned. They're not. No, I don't think you can just go and buy boost. You can buy something else which will give you boosts. That's possible. If so, this could significantly increase stablecoin with the accumulator contract. As we know, unlocking Knuckle requires component destruction, interactive burning boosts, which contains. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting what the relation between, in terms of monetary value, what's the relation between boosts, Knuckle, and Shell can be in principle. Like, can boost somehow, like you can calculate it, because you can calculate at any given time how much each boost, like how much boosts will mine Knuckle for you. And then it creates, if you know the price of Knuckle, then it sort of creates the price, the price of boost per shell. And like, it's possible to calculate it, but for that you need, it cannot be today. Like the market should be developed around Knuckle, and then somehow you will know what's the price of boosts can be. But the point is that boosts are not transferable. It's not cryptocurrency whatsoever. It's just this reputation coin in a way. And so you cannot buy it, because then if once you buy it, there is a price for it, it becomes kind of a currency, which it's not. So bottom line, I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question. Right now, you won't be able to buy boosts, so for sure. There are two methods mentioned to have Shell. Buy with USD and burn Knuckle. Yes. What other methods that user can get Shell with? No other methods. Like you can buy it with stablecoin, or you can get it proportionally from the accumulator contract with your Knuckle. There are no other way. Well, you ask if the shell will be also sold by some, like if you can you buy a shell for Bitcoin? At the moment, there is no such mechanism provisioned, because again, the point in shell that it should be connected to that the price of shell should be going down. And the only monetary, but you still need to buy it. The only monetary thing that always goes down is the money, like fiat. Fiat always goes down in value. Like USD, euros, all shit coins, these ones. So they need to be connected to shit coins. If we start selling Shell for Bitcoin, that's not good, because the Bitcoin goes up in price. Then like the whole accumulator contract become exploding with money, which is not the dynamic we want. Because Knuckle should explode in value, not the Shell accumulator contract value, stuff like that. Now, anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Not sure about that. It will be definitely harder to kind of calculate the price anyway, because you always need to kind of, if you take Bitcoin, of course you can buy Shell Bitcoin by converting it to USD, then you just sell Bitcoin for USD, then you buy Shell. It's really, that's how it's supposed to be. Because then if it's otherwise, then the price will be like different for Shell, and Shell should be just one thing. Okay, what mean of burn Knuckle? Okay, I kind of understand the question. Is this mean that the supply will be reduced if a lot of people burn? Yeah, exactly. You will never do that. Like only stupid people will burn Knuckle against the accumulator contract. Okay, I'm sure someone will do it, but fine. But that's a great deal for us, because for all of us, because it will burn Knuckle, so the Knuckle supply shrinks, right? And you got shitty price, because the Knuckle price will always be higher than accumulator, than your proportional to accumulation, because Knuckle is not just the value of Shell. Knuckle is much more than the value of Shell. So, but you be my guest. You're welcome to sell it against, to burn it and to get Shell proceeds USD. Since users deposit USD stablecoins without a direct withdrawal option, absolutely, some may wonder, how does the system ensure long-term user trust in economic stability? It doesn't. It doesn't need to. There is no sustainability in Shell. Shell is not to be sustainable. Shell is not a stable coin. Remember, it's unstable coin. It's equal or less stable coin. It's equal or less unstable coin. Equal or less, meaning it can be only $1 or less. And we're saying it's not stable coin. You should not supposed to get value back, because it's not why you bought Shell. You're buying Shell to buy resources from the network. So you're buying compute power. Yeah, you're not supposed to get it back. When you go to and buy computers from Amazon or Azure, Microsoft, Oracle, or someone else, you just pay the compute. You never get it back. It's not something you're supposed to get back. When you buy electricity, you're not getting it back. you just spend it, right? So that's what Shell is. Now, sometimes you have an excess capacity, like you put a sunroof on, what it's called,
Collectors.
Yeah, electricity producing solar panels. Sorry, so you put solar panel on your roof, and you have some electricity that you produce, and you can sell it sometimes to the electricity company, right? Will buy it from you because actually government told them so. But here, yeah, you can sell. You bought some shell. There is a mechanism to sell it for the same or for less. Can people use it as a stable coin? Yes, you can. And I explain why, because there is actually a mechanism which these fluctuations of it, they will come, we think, again, no, don't take my word for it's not a financial advice. I would definitely not advise anyone to buy Shell for like investment or anything like that, because it won't be able to go up. It will only go down. Because the fiat money which you buy Shell goes down in value, right? So it's always the Shell value goes down all the time, even if it stays $1. Dollars value going down all the time. Remember that. So yeah, I mean, can you pay with someone and someone can accept it? Yeah, and sure, why not? You can pay someone with electricity if it would be easily transferable. Okay. When are transactions subject to fees? Yeah. When a transaction is not subject to fees. Yeah. So that is a complicated question. The transactions are not subject to fees when the DApp, the application that you use and that requires the fees, stays within some compute parameters, meaning like there is a compute which is given for free to each application. When the application usage becomes more than this limit of compute, then it requires payment, because that means that the network needs to upgrade hardware capacity. It's like there is no more processor power for your application. So your application caused the network to become more congested. And so your application need to pay. Who pays? Users. You can pay. Anyone can pay. Up to you. You can actually create an application in such a way that you charge money from your users for using your application. I don't know, like commissions, whatever. And you put some of that into this contract, which is called config, Dapp config. You just send money, and this will pay for everyone. So even like you can create an application that will always be for free for users, or for free for some users, where you just subsidize with part of your fees with this and do whatever you want. But it's like normal world works. Okay, if you create your application today, just centralized, no blockchain, and you need some servers for that, that's how you would do. You would charge money from someone to some users who need like upgraded features, whatever. And some users will be free. That's like, yeah, freeware. That's how the world works today. So yeah. Okay. Sorry, that was, can network participants receive Shell rewards for providing network capacity? Yeah, they already doing this, because the Shell proceeds are going to this accumulator contract, which is exchangeable to NACK. So in a way, when you receive NACL for producing like for network security and providing resources, computer resources. So in a way, the value of NACL grows with more money in accumulator contract. So in a way, that's what happens. The NACL has this base floor, which always grows. Like more and more money put into accumulator contract. So with time, this floor is going up. Again, you can always exchange with Knuckle, but you will never do that. I explained why before. So so it's supposed to kind of grow all the time. How does the smooth supply reduction of Knuckle compare to Bitcoin halving mechanism? And what are the specific advantages of this approach in reducing volatility and market shocks? Because again, very simple. The Bitcoin halving happens every 4 years, roughly. That creates market shock every time. We know that we have a correlation. We have a correlation between price of Bitcoin and fluctuations of price of Bitcoin and the halving. We are in the bull market right now after the last halving. It's always happening the same time frame, more or less, like year after the halving, because you literally reduce the supply of the miners by half. That is a shock. Like if you are a miner, you mine that amount of Bitcoin and suddenly you mine half. And then, of course, as every shock, it takes time for this to be absorbed into the market. So it takes usually a year to be fully absorbed by the market. And that's where we see the increase in price because you kind of reduce the supply. So it works like a monetary mechanism, right? So what we said is we're just smoothing that out. We just did exactly the same. It's exactly the same formula. But instead of halving every 4 years, we just halve. It's not halving, it's like reducing. But in 4 years, the cumulative reduce of Knuckle is equal to halving. So it's exactly the same mechanism, exactly halving 4 years, but it's just smooth over 4 years. Because we said, what's the reason of having this, this curves? There is no economic reason for Bitcoin to halve every 4 years, except for elections in the USA. So, we just smoothed it out, and we don't really want to reduce volatility. It's not the point of reducing. Everyone wants to reduce volatility for some reason. Why do you need to reduce volatility? Did you ask yourself? Like, what is the reduce? What would the volatility of dollar is reduced, but yet from the beginning of the year to today, it's dropped in price by like 10%. Is that reduced volatility? I mean, compared to euro, for example. Does that reduce volatility? When everyone is like, so volatility is not necessarily a bad thing. Because volatility is when you make money. If everything is steady like this, you're not never making money. It's like bonds, corporate bonds, or it gives you fixed price income stuff. It's boring. You can invest in there. It will give you like 3% a year, 4% a year, maybe 5%. So that's what you're getting when you're reducing volatility. Volatility is growth. It's when you make money. But anyway, so we didn't really think about reducing volatility. We just thought about artificial mechanisms, like this 4 years halving in these periods is just artificial. So instead, we just thought, okay, let's make it more algorithmic and see what happens. What is the role of Shell token as a equal or less coin in the Akinaki binary token system, and how does its mining process differ from traditional collateralized stablecoin? Just everything I said before, summarized. Because first of all, it's not collateralized. It's not collateralized because you cannot get the shell. You buy the shell for $1, you cannot get $1 back. So period. End of story of stablecoin. This is not a stablecoin by any definition. By the new US Digital Act definition, it's not a stablecoin. It's not a collateralized stablecoin, or it's not an algorithmic stablecoin. So there's never an intent for this coin to be stable in what they call stable, meaning be as USD, close to USD. There is no such thing. We never said that, never intend. Anyone who see the algorithm will say it will go to 0. Yeah, exactly. It can go to 0. Will it go to zero? No. It's just another coin. It's just this crazy coin with this crazy mechanics and crazy math behind it, which I believe is brilliant, but we will see. Okay, why is Shell designed to never rise above the value of USD? Just because we want to pay gas fees, and developers don't want to pay more, or more than that, developers don't want to be unpredictably charged by, like, imagine I go to buy a server from AWS tomorrow or any other network providers like data center, and they will tell me it will cost you $100 a month, maybe, sometimes 200, unpredictably so, maybe 350, but around that. Would I buy such a server? No, would never do this. So it should be crazy to develop on the blockchain, because like you develop a system where your cost of running the system today, or you can tell your users it's the same thing, right? So today you pay $3 a month, but maybe tomorrow you will pay 5 or maybe 50 or maybe 150. Would anyone use this kind of system? Would any developer in the right mind would do that? So developers are crazy to develop on blockchain. It's a shitty thing. Like, all right, we're almost there. Aside from Knuckle burn that occurs during the fiat withdrawal, is there any other deflationary mechanism planned or implemented within the protocol? Actually, Knuckle burn that occurs during the fiat withdrawals is kind of not really deflationary mechanism, because as I said many times, nobody will ever do that. So you cannot build on deflationary mechanisms that never used. So it's not a deflationary mechanism. Deflationary mechanism is simple as Bitcoin, exactly the same as Bitcoin. It's just that the fact that you mine less and less. With every new block, you mine less knuckles until you don't mine any in 60 years. It just this curve goes to zero. That's what deflationary mechanism is. Like, it's never increase, it's never stable. It's not like Ethereum, which says like 5% a year, not like Solana says like 5% a year. This is inflationary mechanisms. Like, they inflate ton everyone, the same thing. It inflates because it's more and more you add to supply. And you can compensate by more usage, more gas prices, blah, blah, blah. In Ethereum now, they came to the conclusion that they need to burn, and it worked for about 6 months, and then it stopped working again. They burned more than they produced for 6 months, I think 6 or something like that, and then it stopped, and then again, there is inflation in Ethereum. And we wonder why Ethereum is not going to like 10,000. Because you need to compensate in the future the 5% every year for in the future. You need to take all that into account into the price. It's not the best store of value, let's put it this way. Okay, last one. What core services must the Akinaki network offer to drive consistent shell minting and usage, ensuring stable coin inflow to the accumulator and sustaining knuckle value? Like, it's like a question of like, what applications need to be built on Akinaki? Like, should they be popular applications? Basically, the answer is in the question. Yeah, there should be applications people use. We just think that because this is such a network with such a great features, that you can build, as we discussed today with Tom, like, you can build all sorts of applications, blog writing, whatever, on top of that, because it's so fast, because you can put a lot of users in use them, that a lot of applications will be built. And because we have this unique features of like possibility to mint tokens when you consume this application, use these applications, right? Because you contribute to network security. I think that opens a lot of possibilities for a lot of developers to build a lot of interesting stuff on Akinaki, because this is like incentivizing everyone to use your application, not only you as developer, but also your users and so on and so forth. And then there is, of course, a balance between like how much you pay for gas. Like in the end, like if your application very popular, you start paying like how much you pay for gas versus how much Knuckle. But when you earn Knuckle always goes up in price, remember? And when you pay gas is always going to the same Knuckle holders in the end. Like it supports the price. So it's this system works kind of as a circle, as an economy. Like, so it doesn't matter how much you pay, it's coming back to you as a Knuckle holder anyway. Right? So I think this creates, hopefully, this economy that just can grow and explode like that. But it will take time. It's not going to happen next week. It's like, because to build this thing, right? It's just natural thing, natural expansion. And expansion, as we know, is even exponential expansions. They're happening very slow in the beginning. Like just think about any, even any progression, logarithmic, geometrical, whatever. Like in the beginning, it's like slow. Then it goes like this, right? But in the beginning, it just takes time to do the multiplications on the small numbers to become bigger numbers multiplications. All right, I think that's it. It's 2 hours. Whoa. That was a lot of questions. Thanks for joining. Hopefully that was like useful. And again, Tom, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Yes.
See you all next time, sometimes. And yeah, be strong.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Be honest. Bye-bye.